What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Life is Cooler with AC. I'm your host, Alex Cunningham. And today, this is very special. You guys don't even realize. Today, I feel like I'm with my dad. And my dad's been dead for a long time. So that's not what I mean. What I mean is Tim Wells, the guy who gave me my first ever spot in stand-up comedy. What is up, buddy?
Well, in all fairness, I too am dead in a way. So
just on the inside.
Ago, dude, it's a pleasure. It's been probably 8 years now, 7-8 years since little Alex Cunningham hopped on stage and he did his thing for the first time, all in the beautiful town of Terre Haute, Indiana.
Yeah, but we're doing it for a good cause though, because it was one of your frat brothers, like their actual brother. Yeah, yeah. See, I've come so far. It was one of your frat brothers, right? His like actual like physical brother was needed open heart surgery or something, so we were raising money.
Give me a second to figure out turn this on. Oh no, I didn't think that far ahead. Okay. So I was in a fraternity in college, Sigma Chi, I guess. Shout out to the fraternity. But yeah, a good buddy of mine, Steve Miller, was having some heart issues, and we raised some money for him. Best way I know how is through laughs, man. And at the time, I think I've been doing stand-up like a year and a half, but still, we were trying to build something in Terre Haute. Indiana, I know a lot of your audience is probably spread out because you're in the big times now. AC.
Yeah. No, still huge support in Terre Haute, so definitely shout out to that comedy scene. They're still killing it over there.
Oh, my closest comedy friends came from that scene. Doing stand-up in Indianapolis and Denver, but like that core group in Terre Haute remains true. But yeah, we raised money, dude, and that was back when I was like 21, 22 at the time, and didn't know how to really set up a show. But man, just figure it out. And dude, it was such a good time. And then I needed comics. I needed some comics, and asked a couple of my friends that I knew in the scene because it was a baby scene. There was like 3 of us.
Right. Yeah.
And my friend, Ben Kerr.
Yep.
He had worked with you. I don't know if you want to mention old places of employment, but
I don't care. Fucking let them cancel me. We were slinging pizzas.
And I think we had got connected through that. I'm like,
yep.
You had mentioned you wanted to give it a shot, so why the hell not? Your first time being on a benefit show, where it's just gonna be full of like 22-year-old sorority girls who are just they were in mating season, so who knows?
It's my favorite type.
So yeah, it was at Tater and Joe's Coffee Company or whatever it was called.
Yep.
Changed location a couple times, man. I'm not gonna jerk you off too much, but maybe I will.
It's okay. I like it. Here, let me lower the mic.
Watching you since then, it's been just so much fun watching you, just your grind. You let me stay with you in LA once.
Yep.
But yeah, you've been just killing it. Like,
thank you.
As far as just like your hustle, it's the grind and like the hard work it actually takes to be successful in any degree in life. Like, you're doing it, man. So I'm like, I gave this first shot.
No, man, I appreciate it, and it's hard. And like, I feel like every time that is brought up, people always ask, "How did you get started?" And it's like, that is my start. So I always tell that story, and I'm proud of that story because it was such a, I want to say like a real true moment. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the guys who are like banging on the doors trying to get into the clubs or anything like that. No, I literally was slinging pizza. And again, shout out to Ben Kerr, was like, hey, my roommate is putting together this comedy show. You showed interest and said that you would like to do stand-up comedy. Can I link you guys up? And then I remember you came to the pizza shop and you sat down and you're like, this is the deal. And I was like, this guy's a fucking comedian. Like, he came with a trench coat and a fucking notebook. He knows what he's doing.
A notebook. It was all for show, but it was just doodles from the latest English class I was in. But
drawing titties.
I draw dicks, bro. I love dicks. The texture, the veins, circumcision, uncircumcised. They're beautiful. I mean,
yeah, of course. You don't want to do the hoods, like that. It gets rid of the majestic portion of the cock.
You're turning me on right now.
It's funny. My wife's in a meeting right now, like with her bosses and stuff, and like I'm in the next room and like screaming dick. And
The duality of man.
Exactly. She's professional, and I'm in here trying to take my pants off.
You know, a lot of people say I don't see color, but I see all color when it comes to dicks. I mean, we're talking big meaty black cock, dude. Sign me up.
Right.
But no, I'm straight as fuck, dude. Like, don't even. I'm so straight. I love dick, man. But
well, what sucks if you're drawing a black dick, though, right? Is especially if you're in class or something, like you only have so much graphite in that pencil, so like all the shading, like it just wears down to a little nub, and then you're reminded because now that's you're the pencil, and you're like, wow, okay, so I just put in all this effort for this big, majestic, black, beautiful cock, and I'm left with this little wore down thing that I'm gonna play with until I just can't anymore.
Doodled like in 10,000 BC, taking obsidian, chalking some stones, some big fat black hawks on for people to find, Indiana Jones to find in the new sequel. Hell yeah.
That'd be so fun. Like, I'm sure, like, because they said that there's like dick paintings and stuff in the pyramids and stuff, and like they never thought we would get to where we're at now. But it's like if they only knew. It's like we literally have not progressed as men at all.
No, not at all. It's interesting. Like your first time doing stand up was kind of like a straightforward process. Like my first time, I didn't know how to get into stand up, like at all. I know we're transitioning from cocks back to comedy. It all intertwines.
That's the story of my life. Dicks and jokes.
My whole life, I've always been like the class clown. Growing up, I always pushed the edge just to see what the line was. Teachers usually loved me, but 10 minutes off recess like every day. Like I was that kind of kid.
Right.
But like I was like 20, I think I just turned 20, and like we all have like maybe a movie or a comedian that really inspired us. Like for me, the 2009 film Funny People, Judd Apatow film, Adam Sandler, they really went inside like the stand-up life as like an inspiring comedian. And it was just such a well-done movie. That was like a freshman in high school when I saw that. But that was the first time in my life I'm like, man, that would be cool. But fast forward to like late 2013, I think I just turned 20. I didn't know how the hell to get into stand-up. I didn't know any comedians or anything like that. So I'm like, what's popular right now is Craigslist. That's probably legit. So I'm in Terre Haute at the time, but I go on Craigslist and I see this ad like comedians wanted. We'll pay like $100 for whatever. So I contacted the guy. I lied. So I've been doing stand-up for like a couple years, whatnot. And so I do the ad, or I contact the guy, whatever. He sets up the show in Broad Ripple, no longer in business, but it's called The Sabbatical. And that was my first show. And it was March 20. Oh shit. Say the 20. No, it was yesterday. Yesterday was my 9-year anniversary.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Doing stand up. But long story short, I was supposed to do 15 minutes. My first time.
That's crazy.
At any level in comedy, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I didn't know. I'm like, 15 minutes. So I just, dude, it's so cringy. It's somewhere on YouTube, but it's like, just talking about, I was making like Indiana sports references, and I remember I had this bit about the Indiana Pacers that was way too long. No, I think a lot of us when we start, we just like write everything down. We rehearsed it.
Yep.
So I just kind of had this like 15-ish long set. But the cool thing, I've always had people support me. I had like 40 to 50 of like some people I haven't seen in a long time come up and support me.
That's awesome.
My first show, so it didn't seem as bad as it actually was.
Right? Yeah, they're like, you're doing it.
If you know anything about stand-up and performing, the first show is the only time you're gonna get support.
Right. Yep.
There's like, hey man, let me know when you're in town. Let me know when you're doing your next show. You let them know. Just nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Honestly, don't even care. It's not that big of a deal. But the only time that bugged me, one time, I was doing this pretty big show a few years ago at Joker's Live in Indianapolis, and this guy, I was selling tickets. This guy that reached out from high school, I hadn't seen in like 10 years. He's like, hey man, you want to throw me some tickets? I would love to come. It's like $20 a pop, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I drive like 45 minutes to this guy's house to put him in his mailbox, and he doesn't show up. That's the only time. If you tell me, like, if you make me go out of my way for that shit, but I guess that's part of the grind.
Yeah, it's hard, because like it's one of those things where it's like you always want people there, to support, because like everybody's different. Like I like having my friends there to an extent. And then, like if there's too many friends there or people that I'm like, oh, like I want to impress you, like then I get weird. So, it's there's that give and take a little bit,
Oh, dude, 100%. I like to invite friends if it's like doing like a weekend show. I've worked out this material, whether the 20 minutes, however long you're doing. But if I'm doing like the people who don't tell me they're coming, I love the support. Don't get me wrong. But if you're seeing me working out a joke I have not worked out, and it might be borderline, whatever, it's racist or insane or whatever it might be. It's just, especially that's their first time. They don't understand how that process works. They're like, well,
right.
this guy not only sucks, but he's, he hates,
he hates the gays.
Jerry.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite. And I don't know if you're drinking anything. We always drink different things. So today is Devil's Backbone. It's a Belgian style triplet. I've never had it. We're gonna try it. It's 8.1%. So do you drink?
Sometimes.
Just not at noon.
No, I mean, dude, first of all, you said that's an IPA?
No, it's a Belgian style triple. I don't know what the fuck that means. It's good.
I don't know. I'm sure it's great.
It's delicious. Huh?
Like a sponsor?
Unofficially. So yeah. So if you would like to sponsor the podcast, you can make a donation on Cash App at AC2 Productions or Venmo at Life is Cooler. And then we'll give you a shout out. They did not pay me to do this, so it's unofficial.
Podcast works. I mean, we have Toyota, we have Burger King, we have
yeah,
processor, whatever it might be. Names.
Because you used to have your old podcast, Sorry for Not Apologizing, right?
Yeah.
Hey, don't no. You had like 4 episodes out, and I literally, like I said, I used to, like, when you would do something, I was like, man, I'm gonna check it out, because I was like, you were the guy that like I was trying to aspire to be. So like seeing you do that inspired me to want to get into podcasts and stuff. So it's funny, like that you're like, oh man, I look up to you, whatever. It's like, no, like I look up to you. So like I used to listen to that, and you guys had it was a local pizza place there in Indy in Brownsburg or wherever you're. What was it?
It's still in business. It's called Panooni's.
Okay, yeah, and they had sponsored an episode or two, and I was just like, this, like, how is this guy doing it? Like it's the trench coat.
The trench coat. The thing is, I'm still at that time I was like 24, so I've always just been in my head very much about a lot of things. So I'm like, man, no, I sound stupid. I don't like the sound of my own voice or whatever it might be. So I gave up on it way too early, and then like life goes by and kind of work up the courage to get back up. It's kind of just like, doing stand up, but no, like everything podcasting is hard.
It is.
I think everyone wants to aspire to be like a Rogan, but I just want to, at this point in my life, I've realized I just want to be me, which is so cliche to say that out loud, but no, if you focus too hard on trying to reach a pinnacle, you're just going to disappoint yourself.
Yeah. Like, you're going to spend your whole life in that cycle.
Patience can be detrimental. Just to your entire psyche and mindset.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was cool about the pod, even though I gave up on it after 4 episodes, I enjoyed just talking to people that I found interesting. Like I had a guy, Jake Arthur. He's just like a local Colts writer here in Indianapolis, and then Caleb Cox, who he's a car chief for an HRA drag team. People I went to high school with too, so I had those connections.
Yeah.
But that opened the door for more creative opportunities later down the road. Just, you have that experience. All you have to do is ask people. A lot of people, they like being asked questions about themselves and if you're genuinely interested in what they do. I mean, sky's the limit for a podcast. Everyone freaks out that, there's not, podcasting's too big. Everyone's got a podcast. I mean, at the end of the day, who gives a fuck if you're, making no money or you're making millions? Like, if it makes you feel better, gives you that dopamine, and you can talk about Blackhawks, absolutely go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. You're giving people a platform, and like it's so fun. Like with stand-up comedy and everything that we do, like we do it, for the crowd, but we do it for us because we're selfish people, So it's like we enjoy doing this. We want to do it. Like whenever I get on stage, like I was telling my wife yesterday, I wasn't feeling good. I had a really bad headache and just was not in the groove. And I was like, I want to go do comedy tonight, but I just physically can't. And she's like, but you could. And I was like, that's true, because when I get on stage, it dumps that dopamine. And for that 15, 20 minutes, I feel good again. But then it comes down, and then like now I feel like trash again. And it's really it's what you're looking for, like in your creative juices.
Keeps people, keeps people sharp. Because you said it right there. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm always so nervous to the point where I'm peeing out things I didn't know I had in my body. As far as like, how do I have these fluids left? Like I peed so much before I go on, and I'm like nervous. Like, am I going to remember the rhythm, the beats of this bit? And you get up there, most of the, like 95% of the time, it goes how you hope, at least, as far as hitting your marks. And then you get that adrenaline rush, especially after like the first laugh, because the first 30 seconds are so important, I think, to a set.
Oh yeah.
If you don't hit it, you're climbing an uphill battle. But it's also kind of fun every crowd's different. I love doing like the black crowds, because they hate my style of comedy. I bomb so hard, but it's like, man, how do I earn their laugh?
Right.
So I'll be talking, not to brag, with my black friends. I'll be like, hey man, like what am I missing here as far as like, what do they not like about what I'm talking about? And if it's like some religious, like, I guess in black culture, don't talk bad about Jesus. Not that I talk bad about Jesus, but I like to play with fictional ideas about like what was that conversation like between Jesus and God, before God sent Jesus down. It's like, hey man, I'm going to kind of need you to die for your people you don't know and all, whatever. They don't like that. So you learn things the hard way.
Right.
But so much fun. But the moment you get off stage, like you said, you feel like trash. Same, because it's like you're going through your head, like, man, why didn't they laugh at this? Why was that part funny, or whatever? You're just constantly in a cycle of criticism on yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, and what was that?
I was just to say, as long as it's not to a point where it's like detrimental to your mental health.
Right. And it can get that way, and I've got a lot of friends who have backed off of comedy because it got that way. And like, I felt at one point that it was going to get that way because I wasn't writing. I was just doing the same stuff, and I got into crowd work real hard. And I do crowd work a lot. Like, I love crowd work. And it's not to say that I don't do jokes, because I do. I think I did 25 minutes the other day. And afterward, the comedian who went on after me, he was like, dude, you would be really funny if you wrote some of this stuff down. And I was like, I stole the show. I had a better reaction than anyone else on the show. And all of those jokes were written down. I don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, well, I'm just saying, you do a lot of crowd work. And I was like, you think I'm doing crowd work. It's because it's all written, and I know what they're going to say. And if they trick me, well, I have a rebuttal for everything. Like, I've done these so many times, so it's like learning how to, like you said, that timing and that rhythm, but I had gotten to the point where I was like, I'm not going to, or I'm doing this too often that like I'm wearing myself out. Like I'm not enjoying it anymore. So I was like, maybe I should take a step back. And then I started writing again, like writing new stuff. And then like it gave me that new, like, I don't know what they're going to say. So now I have to be sharp. I have to be on my toes. And like, to me, that's fun because it feels like it's more of a natural conversation. So you're having a real moment with people. And that really changed the game for me.
And people who are really good at crowd work, I mean, the trick is you're leading them down this path. They don't
Absolutely.
know. It's almost like, it's kind of like sales. Like if you're good at sales, you're leading that person down the path by asking them certain questions to get to point B.
Exactly. You're just putting the bumpers up, so then that way when they try and go here, well, you're keeping them on course.
And the genius is to make it appear like you can't tell he's doing what he's doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how you know that you're decent at it, or, okay, because it's like at the end of it, people think you should write this stuff down. Dog, it is written down. You want to see my notebook? Like you can find every joke in there.
Trash at crowd work. I played with it a little bit recently. So back in Terre Haute, actually, for a fellow friend, comedian Patrick Eaton, he was put on the show. And occasionally you get shows with the median age is like 70. So that happened to be one of those shows. And I've seen clips of you talking to the old folks.
Oh, yeah.
Done like those Elks Lodges. I've done like Eagles, whatever. All the, those old people bar places.
Yeah.
But it wasn't going well. I was doing 10 minutes and I was, again, talking about Jesus and dicks and the usual.
Yeah.
Just being a little
stand
silly
up.
boy.
Yeah, for sure.
Boy. And I'm like, okay, this isn't going well. So I'm like, hey, how old are we over here, huh? And then, so they all point to the oldest lady. Like, she's 87. I'm like, I'm sure. I was telling a story about how this girl. Long story short, as I was ejaculating, she pointed my own cock at myself. It was like a self. I was telling a story about that. I'm sure you've done. I don't know. I'm sure you've done that before, and I'm sure you licked the cum off your face and terrible. It's not like I'm trying to embarrass this 87-year-old woman. I embarrass myself. I'm not good at it because I hate small talk in general.
Uh-huh.
It's just so, plus doing customer service jobs for like last 15 years, it's just I can't do it anymore. It's so cringe. Even when I witness small talk, I'm like, and it's probably a fun exchange for these people. It's just being polite, but I don't have that gene where like, oh, this is cool, this is normal, I can get through this. My 10-year reunion was like 5 months ago. Dude, I was just going. My head was exploding. I didn't know how to navigate any of these conversations. Like, hey, how's your dad doing? Oh, he died 5 years ago.
Oh, fuck, that sucks. I'm gonna write a joke about it.
I know. Did you get to see his? Did you get to see his cock? It always goes back to cocks.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. It keeps cutting you out. What would you say?
Coming out.
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, if I talk when you talk, and I talk too much, so I need to shut my mouth, but it cuts you down, so I got to stop talking and then ask again, so it makes me look like an asshole, so the viewers can see that I'm just a dickhead.
It's probably YouTube already. They know they monetize you before you even edit this thing.
You mean demonetized?
What did I say?
You said monetize.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they I have to pay to be on YouTube at this point because they're like, your shit's gonna be so off colored.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't remember what I was saying.
We're talking about dick, and I got super drunk at a show a couple weeks ago, and it was a good time, but afterward I was like, man, I don't feel very good, whatever. And my wife was like, yeah, because you were fucking blasted. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, I remember everything. She's like, you remember taking your clothes off? And I was like, no. She said, you remember peeing on the floor? No. And so she's like telling me all these things. And she said, do you remember that you went up to somebody at the bar and was like, have you ever seen the bartender's dick? And I was like, no. She said, do you remember when she said, no, that's my brother? And then you proceeded to ask, okay, so have you seen it then? And I was like, all right, like maybe I should stop drinking at clubs.
That's called a hard brownout. So you remember some of the night, but it's not a complete blackout because you woke up, you're alive, so that's good. I mean, that's pretty much time travel at that point.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of those moments. I remember one time in college, fraternity party. I was back when Four Locos were a thing, and maybe they still are.
Yeah, but they were sitting next to this at the gas station.
Four Locos, sponsor of Alex Cunningham. Wake up, drink responsibly, of course. Responsibly is ambiguous.
Right. Now I'm into the Darwinism. Let the idiots just weed themselves out. That's what AC stands for. Is actually
coming.
Yeah. I was trying to come up with something good, but see, I'm one that would probably die.
AC. Actually coming.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, actually coming to God because they're going to kill themselves if they drink Four Locos.
Yeah, so the Four Locos, I think I was 21 at the time, so I bought two. One's plenty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
get out of my last class at 2, throw on my Paul George Pacers jersey. Time to get a little rowdy. We're day drinking, going into the night. It's Friday night. 2 Four Locos deep within like an hour and a half. I am trashed. So much so that I don't remember taking Xanax. So what had happened was when it was me like a Sour Patch Kid. I'm like, cool. I like snacks. I could use some sugary goodness. Why not? Turns out not necessarily just a Sour Patch Kid. Had some Xanny in it. Took that bad boy. Next thing I know, it is 10 a.m. the next day. So but I had plenty of people who kind of told me what happened. So apparently I tried to take a nap on the railroad tracks. And I woke up to a 45-minute conversation with my dad that I've not brought up since. Don't know. I don't want to know what we talked about. I'm sure it was very coherent. And I also apparently I smoked some weed that night and tried dip for the first time. I guess I threw up everywhere.
And I know your dad. He was probably very proud.
No,
yeah.
Narcotics detective. He probably did not appreciate his son is on 5 different substances.
Trying to sleep on the fucking railroad tracks is like, not only are you a crime scene, what's in your body, you're trying to create a crime scene.
Yeah, I'm trying to get ran over by some train tracks. If you know anything about Terre Haute, Indiana, that's all there is.
That's all it is. Yeah, but at least he's a detective. He'd have been like, oh, this is easy to put together. My son is stupid. Done. Case closed.
Big dry erase board. Oh, my son is a fucking dumbass. Okay. Checks out. Fast forward to him holding a medal of detectiveness. I don't know.
Right. You clearly didn't go to law school. That's okay.
I'm not trying to portray myself as like this big drug guy because I'm really not. But like I'm like pro shrooms. I don't care. I don't smoke a lot of marijuana, but I'm fine with all that shit. But shrooms, man, I don't know if you've dabbled.
I've never done any drugs like that. So it's funny because like I've lost job opportunities and stuff because they're like, oh, you're a comic, you can't take a drug test, and I'm like, the fuck I can't. Like I sell my pee. What are you talking about? Like that's my side hustle, But like no, I've never done any drugs.
You sell your pee to the degenerates of the world. Huh?
Yeah. Well, yours is in the mail. I checked the tracking today, so it should be there within the next 2 days.
Yeah, I thought it was limited. I already got it. It was accidentally paid for overnight, so I got it way quicker than you thought.
It was delicious.
Honest, it crystal clear, just like a hint of cinnamon for some reason. But
well, it's because my boyfriend was wearing cinnamon lipstick the day that I peed, so it was left over from my blow job.
Gas eating tastes better too. You sprinkle. Now, if you want to throw them off, you got to sprinkle like a little paprika. I mean, they'll sneeze into your butthole.
Ooh, see, now I've never had somebody sneeze it. That would be so bizarre. What's the weirdest sexual escapade you've ever been on?
Oh, man. Weirdest? I don't know. I'm pretty Christian when it comes to my sex. I'm like, I like missionaries.
Just men?
I like missionaries. Yeah, just men under 18. Like.
Welcome to church.
7-1, do not judge, for you too will be judged. Oh yeah, weirdest sexual escapade. That's a good word too.
I've been reading the dictionary.
Yeah, nothing particularly stands out. It's usually the weird ones for me is when like there's just she has a bunch of dogs and cats.
Yeah.
They hop up on the bed and then they start trying to get in on the action somehow. I'm like, dude, no, get down, boy. Down.
Not again.
Like you're in doggy style. That's not what I meant.
Really? So you've never like had a girl like try and finger your asshole or like?
Oh, what? We cover those bases ahead of time.
Really? See, you just gotta. So this is I'm gonna give you some homework for your sexual deviancy. I don't know if that's a word. I stopped reading the dictionary at the ease. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it sounds good. So you gotta like get on because you're single right now, right?
Ladies.
Well, you're always you surround yourself with beautiful women all the time, and you're like, oh, this is my best friend, and I'm like, they're fucking or he is gay. Like there's
I've gotten that a few times. Well, it comes down to I don't like ugly bitches. I think that's all. It's strange. I do surround myself with beautiful women. I mean, I usually don't fuck them.
He said it's not by choice. They always just tell me no. He said I love sports and I'm constantly striking out.
Now, they'll let me sniff their hair here and there. Just getting on it. But
Do they ever just like, oh, I just peed, and like put their fingers under your nose and like just give you a little scent of what you could be getting?
Like, I don't like piss anyway, except for yours. This is gonna sound gay. Like, vaginas kind of freak me out. I respect them. Good for them. Like, they bring us into the world. Like, good job, vaginas. But they are so complex and nuanced, and there's just like all these types of fluids leaking out of them, and different smells and variations of things. I don't like it. just give me a nice butthole, maybe some hair on the back. Named Terrence or Jamal, like that.
No, see, I grew up. So you lived in Terre Haute. Did you ever venture out into Sealyville?
No.
Okay, well, so on 40, if you were to go east, you would go into Sealyville. So like it's just a very small town, and like lots of woods and creeks and stuff, and like that's where I grew up, and like I remember like drinking the creek water and like sticking my hands down in the mud and pulling it out and like licking it off, and like so I'm like, when it comes to a vagina, the wetter, the dirtier, the like if I can come out with streaks on my face so I could be like commando, like Arnold Schwarzenegger whenever he was blasting things, like that's because at the end of the day I'm trying to blast that predator. Give me one good, just like whatever it is, I'll rub my little nose on it.
Like World War I pussy. You like in the trenches, all quiet on the Western Front. Like,
Yes.
give me the mustard gas, and I just eat it all up. That's
Exactly. I'm like, if I can find, like, I'm searching, I'm looking through it. I'm like, is there something hidden? Like, what is this little bean? Ding, ding. You know what I mean? So you're just, you look at it and you're just like, that's gross.
well, in the moment. I mean, I'm not, itching to go down there, but I will because mutual respect. They go down on me sometimes. That's kind of cool, and so I'll tough it out. You're, like I said, you're World War I. I'm more like this like beautiful utopia, like a New York City skyline that hasn't been discovered yet. Atlantis. I like that Atlantis pussy. It's not real. It's not because there's no perfect vagina.
Yeah, they're all perfect. I mean, but the fact that you jump straight to New York skyline makes me, because I've been in New York and there's a lot of gay people in New York. So I'm really starting to have my questions right now, Tim.
It's 2023. Sexuality is a spectrum, bro. Now I've only dated women. I've only made love to women. But I've only fucked dudes though.
I was gonna say the fact that you said made love. It's like, bitch, there ain't no love there. Look at that handprint on your forehead.
But I wasn't gay like probably 5 or 6 years ago. I got paid $20 to kiss a dude at the Bally, shot the Bally, Terre Haute.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm surprised you got paid. They're just like, nah, that's just custom here.
They were very honorable. The guy gave the money, and it was $1 well night. So I was like 10 double shots or a double whiskey Sprites. So. Like, fuck yeah. But like, no, when I went to go, I kissed this dude, and like I felt the scruff, and I'm like, no. Hell can't give me now if it's a clean shaven man, maybe.
Right. I'm into the twinks, not the bear. I'm the bear. Look at this mustache. Look at this 5 o'clock shadow behind the mustache. I want people to know that I mean business, but I'm also gonna like suck a clean shaven dick.
Okay, well, I like that, but at least you're handsome. I look like Zach Galifianakis' like autistic older brother. So
Yeah, but
I
what did that guy think? Did he get paid for it, or was he just doing it for like freebies?
love the game, which I respect.
And he
He's straight dude as well, I think.
yeah, so who was paying for this? Like, are you sure this wasn't some like cop out where they were like, nah, hey, you ask him if he likes me.
Party friend, just he's like, hey, we're all hammered, late night, college, whatever. He's like, hey man, I don't know how he sounds. I can't remember what he sounds like. Hey man, $20 here. If you guys fucking make out. It was a peck, but yeah, I felt the just the rough in his pores. I just like, I'm stick to my 4s, 5s, and 6s of women. That's a comfortable realm to be in.
But to be fair, they have scruff too. In that bracket that you just said, they also have facial hair.
Yeah, I've been sick. I dated a girl a couple of years ago for about a year, but like before then and after, like I've been on dating apps on and off for like 7, 8 years. And the evolution. First of all, everyone nowadays they're all like non-binary, which is fine. But like I can't keep track of everything anymore. They're either non-binary or they're all fucking nurses. Why is everyone a nurse?
Right? Yeah, because that doesn't help at all. Like if you're a construction worker, at least I would know what direction.
And certain nurses are like different, like red flags. Like if she's like, pediatric nurse, like okay, she likes children, she can deal with kids. She's probably sweet, very empathetic and whatnot. But if she's like in the trenches and like the ER, like stay the fuck away from her because like she's one of those girls. She's like she likes to get fucked, like, and I can't provide that. I can like, I'll hit it with that. I'll hit it with that 5-inch, no problem. It's gonna be a nice, easy night. You're gonna have fun. But yeah, the certain level of nurses just can't do.
Yeah, because they're dirty too. Like they're nasty.
I'm trying to shit on nurses.
No, I am. Fuck those dirty bitches. No.
I'm a little overrated. Nurses.
Yeah.
Does work here. I'm like, you just kind of check blood pressure.
Right. Yeah, you say you give life, but you've sucked the soul out of me, girl. Like I don't think you're in it for the right reasons.
And you're not doing the surgery.
Right, exactly. Calm down.
Hours a week and get 4 straight days off. Like, come on, chill. I didn't mean for this to be the anti-nurse podcast, but nurses on the dating apps, like, they're all nurses. Or cosmetologists. It used to be all cosmetologists, and then then they got married, usually like by some army guy named like Chet, and then he cheated on her, while she was pregnant, that type of thing.
Doing the single mom life. So now she's going back to be a nurse. So it's the same girl. She just got a different profession.
She works her way down the National Guard.
Right. Well, now, so I do know, because and we don't get into politics on here very often. So I have seen your posts and stuff, and you're a little bit more on the liberal side, and you brought up that a lot of these people are non-binary. So what would you do if you fell for this girl hardcore and you found out that she's got one of those dicks you've been drawing since you were 4 years old?
I'd probably put it on my shoulder just to compare. I have a tight, cute little butthole, so if it's too girthy, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work out.
But that's a deal breaker. You're like, Jennifer, I love you. I want to marry you. We've never had our missionary sex yet before because we're saving ourselves for marriage because I'm a man of God. But now you've got this fucking this monster schlong on me.
I would say let's just have a mutual jerk off in the car. Whoever, if she comes before me, then I'll wife her up. But man, I don't want it to last too long. I'm good for 10 minutes, but it takes me 45 minutes. And my left arm is swollen from all the lactic acid built up.
I like how she's even driving. You're like, I'm so much of a bitch. I'm in the passenger seat.
Driving's scary.
Here, how about I just jerk you while you drive me, okay?
I'm still caught up on how you painted me as a lib. I ain't no libtard.
I know. I just based off because so it's funny, especially with everything that's gone on in politics. Like I always, because I don't ever post anything political. I post things that are just gonna piss everyone off if I post. Yeah, exactly. But like, because I remember there was one post in particular, and so many people attacked you for it. But you were talking about how your dad is a cop and you respect cops and stuff. But then you had, like this other angle, and I was like, okay. And then so many people were just like, Tim Wells is a bitch. I'm gonna fuck him in his mustache tonight.
Yeah, there's probably been, police officers. That's a tough job.
Absolutely.
It truly is. I mean, they're better than nurses, first of
all. Of course.
Better than nurses. No, in all sincerity, like I grew up, it's a suburban community outside of Indy, but I grew up with police officers. I know how tough that job is. And it's a super complex, nuanced job where people want to make the argument, well, you can't have any bad apples in that job, but that's impossible. Because who's responsible for like the opioid epidemic? It's not users, it's doctors. I mean, they're the ones they were prescribing things left and right at the benefit of them to make money. I know we're not trying to get politics, but
it's healthcare. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I definitely identify more in the middle. And cop out, no pun intended. But like you, I mean, sometimes I'm more vocal. I try not to. It doesn't help anything.
No, it just creates more tension, honestly.
Like, yeah, occasionally I got in some heat recently about the Chris Rock special, and people thought I just didn't like the special. Like, no, I'm fine with Chris Rock. I was so looking forward to that special. I'm just tired of the same topics, as far as like, and when it came to like the trans joke, and it wasn't even like. He wasn't even being mean in the joke. It was just like this long formatted joke that ended with "she's your daddy," which.
Oh yeah, I saw your post. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned the post. I'm just fucking me. I'm not Chris Rock. I'm not pretending I'm better than Chris Rock or fucking. I'm not above anything.
Right. Is it because he's black?
That, and the fact that his penis, I haven't seen it yet. So.
It's probably huge.
Bigger than him.
That's why he was named Rock, Chris Rock.
Yeah, but even that post, I kind of regret posting. It's just kind of heat of the moment, and it's not like I don't think you can't make fun of like trans people or anything like that.
Good, I do all the time.
It's when Joe, like I'm a big comedy fan. I watch it all the time. You kind of hear if you hear it 7-8 times, it's like, oh well, I don't believe in the punching down or punching up thing like that. I think that's silly. Just came down to like I've heard the same stuff for so long.
Be funny.
Yeah, and then even going back to like the police officer stuff, there was this period of time. Well, if you're black, it's been always going on as far as like whether it was like police brutality or whatnot. But there was just complicated subjects that were coming up, and I'm
for sure.
And like I'm trying to like educate myself in different ways. And it was a weird position to be in when you grew up in this community, and they're still my family. So I don't know, man. Again,
it's tough. Yeah, and we don't have to get into politics too much, I like to fuck with people, but I like to make people uncomfortable, and we all know who the real, like the real enemy is, and like it's not black against white, it's not, like everybody's like, oh, like the white man's doing this and that, and it's like probably, like I do a lot, I work for a living, and then I'm just joking, black guys, you guys have jobs in prison, again, these are all jokes, people, but the real issues that we all deal with is the Jews, and nobody likes the Jews, and so we're trying to figure out,
You said I recently found out Steven Spielberg was Jewish.
Yeah, I sold all the DVDs and VHS tapes that I had.
Yeah, Schindler's List was even about the Holocaust. I thought it was a block party. This whole I was like, oh, what's going on here?
This looks great, but like that's what's so funny. Like everybody, like especially so. I'll just give you my opinion on Chris Rock's special, and it literally the whole time, that's what it was all about. He was literally just dissing on white people the whole time. And I feel like in modern society, we've become the target, and that's okay. I mean, I'm strong enough to, like, I don't give a fuck, like, it doesn't change my life,
We'll get through it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, am I upset about it? Absolutely not. It's just like when people, make fun of my height, I don't care. As long as it's funny. Funny's funny. I don't care what you're making fun of. Like my wife, literally, we've been in the middle of, banging one out, and she'll start laughing. And I'm like, what's funny? And she's like, oh, I just had a thought, and like, I'm just like, the fact that you're not having enough fun, that your mind is not thinking of random shit, is kind of upsetting to me. But it's still funny. You have to appreciate the fact that it's still funny, So it's like everybody just wants to be, like, victimized or, whatever. And it's like, that's okay. Like, I'm just out here having fun. So,
On her?
Do I what?
You have to go up on her?
See, that's one I hear all the time.
Let's edit that
out. No, like, so, like, it's hard to hear originals, and I don't know why. Like, I had one, and it was funny the first time. The guy said something about how, like, to me, sidewalks are so high off the ground, the curb is so high that, like, when I jump, I click my heels together. And I was like, that's funny, like, I've never. But then he said it like 4 days or, like, like 4 weeks in a row at the same open mic, and I was like, all right, it's lost its flavor, And it's like that's what's hard, is that, like, of course I've been this size, for a very long time, and it's just like your mustache, you've had it for a long time, like, you've heard all the jokes, people stroke it a lot, it's like, eventually you're just like, Uncle Carl, stop.
You can't trust a Carl or like a guy named Terry. Watch out. I mean, make a good point though. I mean, you've been short most of your life. You were tall when I met you. You were actually 6'3". People forget.
I was punched down so much, I just kept shrinking.
Down on you. They thought you were trans. They just kept making trans jokes until you were 5'3".
Well, that's what happened. They said you've got one choice to make. Do you want a big old dick, or do you want to keep your height? And I was like, give me the dick. So every inch they pulled out, I got 1 inch shorter. So imagine how big that fucking thing is now.
Offer my show's height, unfortunately. I regret it. I'm 6'2". People get false. They're like, oh, you're 6. You probably have a huge cock. I'm like, it's a penis for sure.
Yeah. Well, what we need to start doing is, like, you can stand forward, and then I'll stand behind you. You tuck yours backwards, and then I'll put mine between your legs. And people will be like, Jesus, this thing is wild.
Yeah, that'll be my new Grindr photo.
The only problem is I'm so much shorter than you that they're going to see my balls way down here.
My kneecaps. Which I just add.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird picture, but I want to see it now. Now I think next time we're in the same town together, we have to create this photo for our fans.
I should be going to Austin this summer. I need to come check you out.
Yeah, for sure. We'll put you on some shows.
All right, as long as it's sold out.
He said, I've got one stipulation.
2,000. I need 2,000 per minute, actually. I'll only do 3 minutes. I just need 3
In 3 minutes, he said that I can't perform any longer than that in any category of my life. He said that my coach hated it when I played fucking basketball.
Don't even get me started on high school coaches, man. Those were the only bullies I've ever had in my life. Were fucking adults.
I bet. They're so mean, too.
I mean, especially like the late 2000s. I mean, they didn't give I mean, I remember, I'm not going to say the coach's name, but I was just walking down the hall, and I wasn't very good. I mean, I was just JV guy. I was just walking down the hall. The defensive coach, he's walking. He's walking this way. I'm walking that way, and he just looks over at me and just says, "Pussy." Just keeps walking. I'm like, I'm 15, dude. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, boy, have times changed.
Maybe. Well, yeah, with all the. Oh yeah, you can't get away with that shit anymore.
No, for sure. Could you imagine that if somebody, oh, you little pussy, be like, oh, he gender identified me. Like, it'd just be so different.
The most horrible shit I've ever heard in my life. People be like, oh, were you at like a Klan rally, or where were you at? I'm like, just high school football practice.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of felt that way though.
I remember in middle school, and I played lineman, as obviously. I remember one of the coaches. He's like, he was trying to practice our form and like getting underneath a shoulder. Whoa, 13. That's what stuck out to me. Like, you could have said titty, but no, he's probably thinking because we're 13. But man, that came off really weird. and he was like a really old, chubby. I mean, it was bad visuals for everybody involved.
Right.
But yeah, coaches. There were some good coaches, but they were ruthless. I mean, just absolute bullies. Me and like 4 of my other friends from high school, we almost got expelled from school because we made a fake Twitter of the head coach. I had just quit because I had broken both my legs during the summer going to senior year. I was actually going to start. It's going to be my hoorah going out on top. And like I was rehabbing during the season trying to get back in time.
Were you in a wheelchair?
No, it wasn't like they were like stress fractures. It wasn't like they were compound or.
Oh, okay. I just pictured 2 casts. You're just like rolling in. Pass it to me.
3-month process of physical therapy or whatnot, and then the coach made me do sprints. He's like, "There's no walking on my field." I'm like, "But I can't walk. I can't." And then that was that moment. Like, I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm done with football. And then we just kind of had beef the rest of the year. But dude, we went hard. And this is 2011, so Twitter's kind of new still, and we were going hard. We might have brought up his wife and son. His son was a prick. At the end of the day, this is a long time ago. People can evolve and change. I'm not trying to like. They might be good people now. I don't know.
They were still pieces of
shit. Probably not. But I'll give them that benefit of the doubt. But yeah, we almost got expelled. So close, in fact, that we actually had to hire a Jewish lawyer to get us out of it. Because it was like, this is where the gray area was for First Amendment speeches, for the First Amendment in general. Like, what is the line on social media? The name of the Twitter handle had the word faux in it, so that's what kind of saved our ass.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was implied parody.
Right.
It was like we were impersonating, specifically, this is portraying this guy as the real person.
Yeah.
But dude, we felt like such badasses once we didn't tell anyone else, but it somehow eventually gets out.
Uh-huh.
But we felt like badasses. 5 of us lined up like side by side, walking down to the principal's office like, "This is the day of reckoning, boys."
Yep.
It's been a real one. And then because part of the issue was we were tweeting from our the school-owned laptops.
Oh yeah, where you have to sign in.
Allegedly, that was never proven. But it was such an issue. The next year, they changed the acceptable use policy on those laptops.
Yep.
Left our mark on Brownsburg High School, so I'm I can hang my head held high on that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll see. Like that's what people are like. I hate it because people are so bitchy, and it's like, yeah, that sucks. Like, we literally, have social medias that like are fake, like made after us all the time, and people just being mean and bullying and stuff like that. But it's like, at the end of the day, it comes down to you as a person. You know what I mean? And like, if you can dish out and be like, hey, wow, this 15-year-old kid's a pussy, but as soon as he puts a picture of me on the internet, now I'm gonna be the little bitch. It's like, all right, so how tough are you, buddy?
Oh yeah. One of my close friends who was part of that group of 5 that made that Twitter, he's a teacher now.
Okay.
And his some of his students made a fake Instagram. Or no, it's not even a fake Instagram. It's just they're just posting pictures. They'll take pictures of him during class and put filters on them.
Uh-huh.
And it kind of grew a little bit. But they respect. Like, I think that's out of love. It wasn't like they were shitting on the guy.
Right.
So like if all you have to be as a teacher, and I don't know what it's like now. I'm just saying, like, just be kind. Like, just don't fucking bully 14-year-olds. Like, that's all
Yeah. Don't be walking down the hallway and be like, hey, you fat sack of shit.
And they're already dealing with getting molested by Uncle Carl. Shout out. And what else? But man, like, just you're an adult. Don't treat kids like shit. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is literally the youth, of America. Like these are our next leaders, but you're gonna sit here and tell them what pieces of shit they are. Yeah, thanks, buddy. You're doing your job.
A coach and you taught like social studies or economics, you're not smart. Like like, oh, here's the capital of Iran. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Right. Yep. Don't miss practice.
All right. Shout out Iran, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Just shouting.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lot of people who follow in Iran. We have to send them physical copies because they haven't found the internet yet. So unless it's, like Al Qaeda, they send us videos and stuff, that we generally ignore. Sometimes we watch them, but yeah,
probably like holding some type of corpse or a head of.
Yeah. Well, usually it's a nurse head, and I'm just like, I kind of get it.
I'm with you. A lot of those beautiful women you're talking about that I surround myself, most of them are nurses. So they're just fucking around. Come on. Can I not fuck around on a podcast with a friend? Come on.
Right. Yeah. I hope they see this and reach out and tell me that I'm an asshole, because I'm going to send to them my nurse friends who are all fucking men.
Oh, yeah. And people who take podcasts too seriously, especially like we're dealing with comedy. We're just talking shit. 80% of it is hyperbolic anyway.
Yeah.
We're just being little silly boys.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I was actually this whole time been sketching a dick picture underneath of the computer. So.
I'm being tired. Ben, come on. Shout out, Ben. Shout out.
Yeah,
you can do that.
Yeah, because you guys have your new podcast, right?
Yeah, Recency Bias with Ben Kerr and Tim Wells. It's just a straightforward movie podcast. We watch the movie and immediately come in and record. It could be a movie we just had seen or seen before, or maybe it's a new one. But yeah, we come in immediately. Studio T, which is right here in beautiful North Indianapolis. But yeah, we just part of it is just we're reflecting on the movie. There's no structure. There's no segments. We put in a bunch of fake ads. It's really fun. We just half of it is like the movie, and then we get sidetracked a lot and just talk about regular life stuff and go in and out. So there's no structure to it, but 11 episodes in, we're seeing some exponential growth.
That's awesome.
Dude, it's just been so much fun.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to make sure that we plug all of that stuff afterwards. We're about to hit our hour, which is kind of the sweet spot here. So we always ask a question just to kind of see how the mind of a comedian works.
Oh, boy.
And so you might want to grab your trench coat for this, because, I really need you to transition into the full effect comedian. So this is love at first sight real?
No.
No? Why not?
Why would it be? I mean, now I want to fuck you on first sight. Yeah, that's clearly real. I've never fallen in love. Until I do, the answer is no.
Okay, well, hey, and I respect that answer, but I also heard that you only make love to women. So that is, in my opinion, a yes.
Yeah, you're right. I'm often wrong anyway. So yeah, whatever you with. Love at first. I have to get to know the lady. I'm so personality based. Okay. Well, you have to have a fat ass and big titties, of course, and a face. Be a nurse. I like to hate fuck them. But.
I'm gonna rip your scrubs off, and then I'm gonna scrub your face into the carpet while I fuck you doggy style.
All my charts, like a little.
Well, if you don't think love at first sight is real, then I'm gonna have to disagree, because I understand why you're saying it, because you still don't like what a vagina looks like, so where the first time I saw a vagina, I was just like, that's it. That's the one.
They feel good. They feel a lot like a man's butthole.
But they self-lubricate. That's the difference.
So do men's buttholes if they've had Chipotle.
If the timing is right.
Yeah, about 30 minutes after some tomatillo.
We're in it. You can't tell if it's the tomatillo that's red, or if it's the blood, or if it's just my tears. You don't know what the lubrication's coming from.
Oh, or the hemorrhoid.
Or
that's the man spot is the hemorrhoid.
Is the hemorrhoid. You get one on both sides and you just tickle them.
Flicking it a little bit. Like that, Billy?
Yeah. Oh, you're squirting blood on my face.
Disgusting. I love it.
Well, thank you, Tim, so much for being here. This was I had a great time. I hope you had fun. And I'm gonna put all of your socials down at the bottom, so then that way you guys can go check him out. Super funny. He still wears a trench coat anytime that he does a show around children. I don't know why, but we're gonna figure it out. If you see him live, definitely stroke that mustache for me and make sure that you give him a kiss, especially if you're a man, and then he'll pay you $10.
Well, with inflation, it's $9.50. So sorry anymore. Seriously, appreciate it, man. It was a pleasure talking to you again. You're one of the realest dudes. Thank you for letting me stay with you. I had one of the most memorable experiences of my life. You took me up to the Hollywood sign at night where no one's supposed to be, and had the most beautiful scenery of all of LA County. And I'll never forget that moment. So thank you for doing that for me.
Absolutely. And it was great having you guys, you and your cousin coming out. And hopefully whenever, if you do come out to Austin, we can hook up. And if not, we'll be in Terre Haute several times this year. So we'll definitely, we'll do something together.
Oh, yeah.
We'll draw some dicks. So. Well, thanks, buddy. And we will talk soon.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.